The Sea of Galilee. It was a place that Jesus would walk as a young man, and a place that he knew very well. Nestled in between some high hills, a very shallow lake, the Sea of Galilee was subject to many storms that they would rise up very quickly and come out of nowhere. And being such a shallow body of water, the Sea of Galilee would become very rough at times. And the Bible tells us that Jesus, one day when he was preaching to the crowds, decided that he would go across the lake. And the Bible simply says that he put the disciples in the boat, and when they were halfway across, a storm came out of nowhere. And the Bible tells us that that boat that the disciples were on, Jesus was on, was in the midst of the storm, but it also said there were many other little ships with it. So a big storm, Jesus on one boat, the disciples with him, and all these little boats around him. And the Bible says that Jesus was asleep in the back of the boat. What a disturbing time that is when you are in trouble and it appears that Jesus is asleep. And so when the winds began to howl and the waves came up and water was coming onto the ship, they would start to bail that water out. In fact, they had gotten to the point where they didn't think that they could save the ship. And so they began to panic. Have you ever panicked when you have issues around you? Maybe you have issues today. Maybe you're scared of this coronavirus, or maybe your job is giving you trouble, or possibly finances, or maybe your health. But in those moments of panic, they did something that we need to do, and that is to go to Jesus Christ. And you know, he's always there to receive us, whether it's daytime or night or storm or no storm. Jesus is always there. And so they went to the back of the boat, and they would wake him up with these words. They said, "Master, don't you care that we perish?" Now we know the disciples were there, but there was also a lot of other little ships around. People were depending on those disciples to get a hold of Jesus. And you know, in this world right now, people are depending upon the Christians to get a hold of the Lord. It was a place that Jesus would walk as a young man, and a place that he knew very well. Nestled in between some high hills, a very shallow lake, the Sea of Galilee was subject to many storms that they would rise up very quickly and come out of nowhere. And being